Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. Geeky Sparkles is sitting this video out. We're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Remember that? Remember that game? Like everybody was talking about it for like a year, 2 years. Then it came out and it kind of came and went like a fart in the wind. And now we're finally getting some numbers in, and the numbers are not good. The game did not sell well. In fact, it's the lowest selling release across the last 5 Assassin's Creed titles. And so some of these articles attacking gamers aged like milk. This is April. We had from gamesindustry.biz, Assassin's Creed Shadows success shows that the threat of negative campaigns is overblown, guys. Now it's turning out that, yeah, it's no. People didn't buy the game. And this happens all the time. We see a lot of companies go into defense mode. They call in some favors to their friends in the media. You get a bunch of bot accounts and sock puppet accounts on social media trying to gaslight you into thinking that a game or a movie or a comic book or whatever is a huge, huge hit. And then when the numbers finally come out, there are crickets because they know. Because it's all about boosting it while you've got that window of opportunity, which is usually the first month or two of sales. And in the case of games, it's a few weeks or whatever until the initial buzz dies off. But yeah, I think sales were strong at first from people who pre-ordered the game, but now we're seeing where they're really at, and it's not good. Nobody is talking about this game. Nobody's talking about this game now. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Hey, go out to Kickstarter, back Geeky's pins. She's got some Christmas pins out there. She has designed all of them except Santa. I did Santa, but she designed the other ones. They're going to be glittery. It's going to end in a couple of days, and the reason we're doing that is so we can get them off to the manufacturer to get them to you in time for Christmas, because God knows everything takes longer than you think it's going to take, right? But go out to Kickstarter, back Geeky Sparkles glittery pins. You can also pick up a Clownfish TV pin carded. These are from a year or two ago. We're offering them again. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, let's talk about this, because we had some indication that this was not doing well. Back in January of last year, they said that Ubisoft had low morale, and that they were talking about all the problems with Assassin's Creed Shadows internally. And again, they tried so hard to make this game stick to the point where they were even manipulating Wikipedia, if I remember correctly, to try to retcon history that, yes, there was a black samurai for 100% realsies, and it turned out that Yasuke, to the best of my knowledge, was mostly a work of fiction. There was a person named Yasuke. We don't know exactly what his role was, but they tried to make it out like he was, verified historical fact that he was a samurai. And it was mostly fan fiction on the part of a white scholar. But somehow they're making anime series, and they're making musicals, and they're making this game, and trying to, again, gaslight you into thinking that this was a real thing. And Japan hated it. The Japanese were not happy with it. There are many faux pas. I mean, for a company that claimed to be so culturally sensitive, they certainly were very insensitive to the Japanese. Ghost of Yotai outsold Assassin's Creed, and that one's got problems too. So that's how I knew this was bad, because Ghost of Yotai, a lot of people were not thrilled with the politics of the people involved in that game, but that still outsold Assassin's Creed Shadows. In fact, it outsold Assassin's Creed Shadows on PS5 in under 3 weeks. They said, Shadows still sold pretty well. No, not for Assassin's Creed. It didn't sell very well. So this is coming from Tech for Gamers. Assassin's Creed Shadows is the series' lowest seller across the past 5 entries. Even Assassin's Creed Mirage managed to outsell the new release. Damn. For the future, the franchise is now under a new subsidiary, and so far things are looking optimistic. Yeah, this is why Ubisoft is doing what they're doing. They spun off their, what they call them, evergreen franchises into a new division, and I think they're going to purge the activists out of those companies, and they're going to try to take control back of these franchises, and they're going to try to make money on them again. But yeah, Shadows was a huge flop. Like, who wants to play an Assassin's Creed game supposed to be historically accurate, and it clearly isn't. right? I mean, they're like, oh, we've got so much attention to detail. We have, Japanese experts, and very basic things they got wrong, right? Like they had some merchandise and they had them, like desecrating a Torii gate and all this other crazy stuff. And it was like, yeah. Ubisoft had a lot riding on Assassin's Creed Shadows. Unfortunately, not even the long demanded Japanese setting could rescue the publisher from the quicksand it was slowly sinking into. Maybe, again, if you played as a Japanese samurai in feudal Japan, that might have helped. Despite kicking off strongly, Assassin's Creed Shadows has the lowest sales in the series across the last 5 entries. Damn. Assassin's Creed Shadows was an incomplete entry and lacked many features at launch. No, that's not why it didn't sell well. I mean, that might be part of why it didn't sell well, but come on. You just don't want to say it, but Moreover, the controversies and some inaccurate depictions of the feudal Japan setting didn't go over well with the game's PR. As such, it makes sense why the sales are so low. Initially, Assassin's Creed Shadows reached 3 million players in a week. However, total sales are at 4.3 million 6 months after launch, which isn't a great number considering the time and budget, which is between 250 million and 350 million. Holy hell. So between the development and the marketing, this is why Ubisoft is on fire. They had this flop come out right after Star Wars Outlaws landed with a thud, and those 2 games were supposed to save the company. This is why they had to go in with Tencent to save their asses. In the span of 3 months, Assassin's Creed Mirage sold 5 million and performed better than Shadows despite being a spin-off. The previous RPG trilogy has also performed decently, all selling better than Shadows. While Ubisoft hasn't confirmed the budget for Assassin's Creed Shadows, they did state an amount of upwards of 116 million. Even 10 million sales is an ordinary benchmark for a AAA game these days. Even 10 million did half of that, less than half. That is an unmitigated disaster. And I think a lot of people just stop playing Ubisoft titles altogether because of all the drama around this and Star Wars Outlaws. And again, it was the gaslighting of the players. Like, you're crazy. Don't you know? This is a historical figure. And if you don't buy our game, you're a bigot. We have seen so many AAA titles crash and burn over the last 2 years. And they're self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Always. These studios think they know better. They think the players are pay pigs. They think that you can just put anything out, gaslight the players and attack them. Even the game can even be good. The game can be good, but if you attack the players, they're going to boycott it. Just like anything else, the movie can be good. The comic book can be good. But if people don't like the people that are making them, or they don't want to give money to that company, then guess what? That's what happens. Well, it closed. Ubisoft and Tencent have formed a new subsidiary, Vantage Studios, which is going to lead the big IPs from the French publisher, including Assassin's Creed. Perhaps the franchise will experience success with this new partnership. Yeah, maybe they'll tell them to get their shit together. More about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Post-release content has been great. Not that anybody cares because nobody's playing it. And a lot of new mechanics and missions are being added to the game. However, most of it feels like cut content, and Ubisoft had to take its time. And had Ubisoft taken its time with the game, perhaps things would have turned out differently. Same with Outlaws. Again, they had to ship these games to make money because literally the fate of the company was riding on these 2 games, and anybody could have told you that these were not the games to bet the farm on. Right? And I think they knew that. I think they knew that before they released them, but that's why they were so desperate. That's why they're so desperate, attacking gamers and trying to steer the narrative. Because they knew if either one of those games failed, they were completely fucked, for lack of a better term, and both of them failed. And now we're at where we're at. But maybe we'll get good Assassin's Creed out of it. Who knows? It's just crazy to see this company, which at one point in time, I mean, they've always been predatory, but they could do no wrong financially. Like, they always just printed money. And within the last couple of years, they've just completely fallen off. All these studios have just completely fallen off because they got greedy and they got stupid, they got sloppy, they got political. And things are changing. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.